Hey, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cosplay Photo Critique episode
Look
29.
who we finally got as our guest.
We got him. We got him.
Got him.
Boys and girls, the elusive Kaze Photography.
It's almost like he doesn't exist, but he does.
Hi, everyone.
There were legends written about him. They said we could never
There are
find
Reddit
him.
pages about him.
I was gonna joke and said you guys didn't let me get on, and I've been wanting to come on this whole time.
That's a lie.
Wow.
You guys finally let me on.
Yeah, we finally let him on. He's been begging, pleading this whole time. Like, please
Or
let
like
me
the
critique
reverse.
photos.
Sarah totally peer pressured me.
Uh-huh.
100%.
I mean, she just like I feel like she was just at that point the straw that broke the camel's back because we've been trying to peer pressure you for a long ass time now.
I gave it to him straight. I was like, you can't say you're shy if you're already live streaming.
Yeah, just like you're
freaking
fucking
photo
already
editing.
doing it. Get
Yeah.
your ass on here.
You can't say you don't have a camera because that's also false. So
Although
Dang, why
we
did I
had,
get a camera?
although in order to have this work as a webcam, we had to do like ghetto rig this because it's actually kind of a funny
really?
setup. Yeah, he's using OBS to stream his webcam, like
My webcam.
yeah, because it's literally his Nikon, right? Yeah,
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was your
My
shooting
Yeah.
camera.
DSLR.
yeah, using it through a
That's why
weird.
we got all this bokeh back here.
Yeah. Yeah, get that beautiful bokeh. I've been debating on like getting like a cheap light for streams here because like, yeah, I think some better lighting would look cool. Because I look like I'm so close in like a whiteness color to the background. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh well. Also my
Yeah, that's
background doesn't look good ever. But blame my wife for that. All right, well, let's get into learning a bit more about Kaze Mike. So, Mike, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, how long you been shooting?
How long have I been shooting?
Yeah.
So I've been shooting actually since 2014, and I know this because my first con that I started shooting at was at KatsuCon.
Oh really?
2014. Yep. So it's been like, I guess that's 5 years, right?
I would have thought you'd been
And-
shooting for longer than that. That frustrates me.
Well, shooting, I guess, cosplay or like it was just like hallway shots
Yeah.
at first. Yeah. I mean, I was
That
kind of
counts.
shooting a little bit before that. I was doing like just like trying to learn the camera because yeah, it was really confusing at first. I was like shooting figures and stuff like that.
Proper weeb life.
Yeah. But it helped though. Like
Oh,
shooting
yeah.
the figures and like figuring out the flash and stuff.
Mhm.
Like it definitely helped me learn like the camera.
Mhm.
Did you start
Um,
that first? Then?
Yeah, I think I was
Mm.
shooting the figures first.
How long did you go to cons before you got into the photography side of it?
Oh, I actually went to cons like man, like back in high school, middle school maybe, like 2005. Now my age is gonna show.
Hey dude. Hey dude.
2005. Yeah.
2005 was my very first con, so I feel you.
And it was a lot different back then. Like I was watching like
Oh, fuck
shows
yeah,
that
it
were
was.
currently airing and stuff like that, but no one was cosplaying that. There was like a
No.
big disconnect. But now though, like shows come out instantly, like in Japan, and it's like Crunchyroll. So like everyone's cosplaying like current stuff now.
Mhm. Oh,
Okay.
I never thought about that.
So if I have a recommendation for a YouTube video for everyone to watch, go
The Sakura Con commercial?
No, but yes. No, but go search on YouTube 2001 An Anime Odyssey and get back to me when you watch it. It's fucking incredible.
I need to watch this.
It's a trip into cons in 2001 and it is just a freaking gem. It is so funny.
And Nifty says that's where we met in Katsucon too.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
also met
This
Danny
video that's
Forrest there.
like 18 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
An
Oh, boy.
otakumentary.
It is so funny.
Oh my god, I'm not ready.
I need to watch this.
I've watched it multiple times, and it is still great, especially if you went to cons. I didn't go to cons back in 2001, but I feel like the difference between 2001 and 2005 was not dramatically different.
I started in 2007.
I still think like probably the big differentiator there was like social media. I feel like that and smartphones. Like those were the things that changed like cons probably the most. Cuz like I remember going and like at cons and I remember my first ASUN and I had a sheet of paper that I was asking people for their AOL Instant Messenger handles on so that we could
aim.
so we could hit them up on AIM later. Fucking great.
Send in the photos. And fun fact, I met Sarah that same year at Otakon. I had to look this up, by the way. I didn't actually remember. But yeah,
I
think
we
I met
it.
Maybe.
Wait, Otakon.
I think I officially met you at Otakon.
What Otakon was?
It was to the same year, 2014. I was like, dang, 2014 was a big year.
I don't even.
And then Andrew, I think I met you at some Katsucon. Maybe 2015 or 2016 or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I think it was Katsucon before Colossal Con. I think. Yeah.
I remember me and Beth were in the line, and I think you.
Yeah, that was when we talked the most. It was like the final day, and we were like, I was like waiting in line for like a baggage hold with you guys or something like that, and we waited. It's like an hour long or whatever fucking the wait it was. So we talked for a while. But normally my next question after this is what got you into shooting, but cosplay. But my guess is after it's pretty clear after going to cons for that many years how you got in. Unless there's some like very specific trigger that you were like, I imagine you were like most people that were like casually moved up from like hallway shots to being more interested.
Yeah, exactly. Like just, trying to get better backgrounds and stuff like that. So I started to actually do one-on-one shoots rather than just hallway shots.
I love all the old folks shouting their support in chat. Bless you, old people. We love you.
Dude,
they could have been like a baby at a con.
True. Yeah. Do you shoot anything outside of cosplay?
I've been trying to get more into fashion now. And also I still go back to the figures and try to shoot some of those too, but they're really expensive and I wish I had more.
I know, like fucking figures. So like the thing that
I really like fashion though.
Yeah, I want to personally get into shooting more out of cosplay portrait stuff, just so like, because like most of my stuff that's out of cosplay portrait stuff is pretty old now, and I'm not happy with it sitting in my portfolio, and I'm like, I really need to freaking update this. So what is your favorite thing to shoot? Like this can be like, if you're talking cosplay, maybe like specific types of cosplay or that whatever you think.
I guess just anything like in golden hour. I just love golden hour, and like nature-ish kind of shooting, or like golden hour on the beach and stuff like that. But like as for characters, I don't know if can I say this? Do I like cat girls? Is that okay?
Well,
like
I mean, we'll judge you. You can say it. We can say you can say it, but we'll judge you. I mean,
you do you. It's fine. People like what they like.
Sips drink. How would you describe your shooting style?
Ooh, that's hard. It's hard to describe your own style.
Oh yeah,
I think, but others can describe
I love people trying to answer this question because I think it's kind of difficult and interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I can describe it either, but I know a photo when I see yours. Like, not because your watermark, like, if your watermark was cropped out, like, I would know that it's your work. I don't know why.
It might be like the color grading. I try to, like, the color grading, I kind of use the same color grading sometimes. But what I strive for in my photos is just, like a clean photo, like, natural edits, like, minimal color grading, like, more natural. And make sure that everything's like nice and sharp and stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like, like when people try to do that, it ends up just looking like it's straight like out of camera raw or something. Yours still has that. I don't like this word, but everyone uses it because I guess there's just no one can think of a different word to use. But like your photos are very creamy.
I love how much you were just like, no, I can't.
I hate it. They are though, like really smooth, like
smooth. Yeah.
But like not in a bad, like Gaussian blur kind of way. Like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
I think it's because I try to make my lighting more flat. Maybe that's one thing.
I don't know, but there's.
I think a big thing that if I were to say in your work is you tend to try and have the backgrounds with lower contrast than your subject. So like things where you're like lifting the shadows more in the background than on your subject to have your subject pop out more. That's something I notice a lot in your work. But now for the question I continue to wait for someone to answer. Do you prefer, do you prefer shooting at cons or on location?
And what do most people say here?
What do you think?
What do you think?
Well, maybe I can be the opposite here and say I love cons.
That's a lie.
No, I'm just kidding. No. I just love shooting the same place over and over and over.
Right, it's totally creative.
I mean, I guess there's cons, and pros to both. Like at cons,
there's cons and
pros.
Lots of cons.
There's more people there at cons, so it's easier to like shoot with more people and network and all that stuff. But on location, you get like that's a lot better for the backgrounds and stuff like that.
How do you approach a shoot? Like when you have time to kind of plan it out, what do you spend your time thinking about beforehand or prepping or all that jazz?
Oh yeah. Definitely get like reference photos, and just like put them on my phone, and so I can easily get back to them, like during the shoot.
It's something I try and do, but like half the time I forget while I'm shooting that I have them on my phone. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, sometimes it's like I start off with them, and then we just like do our own thing. Like it's just like a starting point sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's one cosplay you've always wanted to shoot?
Ooh. I've been wanting to shoot like cosplays with like cars, like racing outfits or something.
So
whatever cosplay.
Pixar's. You wanted to shoot Pixar's Cars cosplay?
Oh yeah, Cars cosplay.
No. Or Gajinka Cars, maybe.
There were designs going around actually that were actually pretty cool.
There's design for it?
Yeah, but it was like all men.
Oh.
Big movies.
Interesting.
How have you not shot the Fate racing outfits yet?
I mean, I have, but not like with cars. Because I actually like, like those old school, like 90s Japanese cars.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Because I like Initial D, so.
I know you like Initial D. You and Mason Hikari photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And White Desert Sun is also right in there in that category.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Funny.
Very true.
What's one piece of advice, Mike, that you would give to photographers? It can be for beginners or otherwise.
Well, when I first started, like I always looked up at others for like inspiration. Like I would like grab their photo and like put it next to mine and like try to see like how did they get to this, you know? And I even still do that now. Like I take my own photo sometimes and put it next to what I'm currently working on just to like make sure I keep my style consistent, I guess. Especially like exposure, because I don't want to like change my exposure too much. And then like once you learn like a lot of styles, like through YouTube videos or looking at other people's photos, then you can just like develop your own style from that. Or you can even use like different kind of styles for, that fits like the photo that you're working on.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a nice thing that you're trying to be consistent with your styles. I feel like
I'm sure
I'm
not.
terrible. I'm terrible with that. I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. It's gonna be real
But I mean
different this time.
that's good too. Like you're trying different things.
No,
as
but I
well,
think it's nice
and
because
not
like
always doing the same thing.
it definitely though that speaks to why like your work has a very consistent feel. Let's get that Kaze Photography feel.
Yeah.
I at least try to keep it the same for at least the set.
Yeah. I mean that I feel like that's a pretty.
What does
pretty,
that mean?
What's a
Just
set?
changing the colors in every set.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm trying to do that more now, but like I used to just be like, fuck it, whatever. Like they look totally different.
literally, I'm like, what is consistency? I don't know what that means.
So a question that I didn't put down that I'm just curious. How'd you come up on Kaze Photography?
Oh, so this is just gonna show my age again.
It's okay, we're all old. It's fine.
So there's this anime. I used to watch a lot of anime like back in the day, and sometimes I would watch really bad anime, but I had a lot of time. Like this is my high school stuff, where it's like I didn't know what was good or bad.
Yep. We watched a lot of us have watched some pretty bad anime.
So there was this anime called. It was actually Final Fantasy. It was a Final Fantasy anime.
Oh, fucking.
But a lot of you probably haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It's not a classic or anything.
Oh, what's the name of it? God damn it. It's the one with like the little kids, right?
Yes, it's called Final Fantasy Unlimited.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it!
And there was a character named Kuroki Kaze. He was like this guy that used like a gun, and he like summoned the final. And the anime had
this dude with the golden gun and like
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's Kaze.
Oh my god.
Oh, and the anime has nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's really
except the summons. That's the only thing.
Yeah, it's like
god.
totally its own thing.
Yeah.
I almost want to watch it. Maybe I'll watch the trailer tonight.
Dude, this guy's got a sweet eye patch. It's like half eye patch, half sunglasses.
Cool. But he would like have different colored bullets and like combine them in different ways to like summon like Shiva or Ifrit or something like that.
Was it like his materia or something?
Yeah, it's like it kind of was like materia, I think.
Oh my god, this looks
it isn't an eye patch. It literally is a single like it's like if a monocle and like Oakley sunglasses made love.
Not an eye patch?
No.
Violet says he wishes he submitted a different photo. Oh, do you have a Kaze photo?
I'm gonna paste this in the chat just because like it fucking cracks me up. This guy's face is like literally half a pair of Oakley sunglasses on his face.
I did not realize that it was half a pair of
I thought it was an eye patch.
I
thought it was an eye patch when I first looked at photos, but no, it's half a sunglass. Oh, buddy, that's wonderful.
Oh,
I'm glad I asked that question.
And that anime came out in 2001.
I didn't even know what anime was.
Yeah.
Dude, the only reason I know that anime is because they had a sample of it on. Do you remember New Type, the US version of New Type magazine, where they used to include like the sampler DVDs, where they had like usually like the first episode of like one or two anime on it. I've literally only seen the first episode of Final Fantasy Unlimited because of that.
Oh. I really like the ending theme though. It's really cute. Like little chocobos.
Oh
Cool
my
song.
god, I'm deceased. This is too much.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Okay, normal housekeeping stuff to get out of the way here. So as always, if you have guests that you would like to see on the show, please let us know. Feel like our pool of potential guests is like dwindling as continually photographers get outed for being disgusting people. Like, please, photographers, stop being disgusting people. Like, seriously, this is fucking ridiculous, guys. Stop it.
Yep.
Stop.
Literally can't go a month without someone doing something shitty. Also, I just want to say, like, be safe out there. Like, bring someone to your shoot. Don't hang out with if you meeting someone for the first time, don't go by yourself. Like, this is the real world.
Absolutely.
Like, yes, we're at a con, and like, but people are like disillusioned that like because we're at a con, like, oh, everyone's friendly and nice. No, still the real world. They're still real people. Be smart. Like, be street smart. Like, don't go to things by yourself. Like, y'all, come on.
Don't like, don't trust people until you are absolutely 100% certain you can trust them, which is this is such a shitty thing that we have to deal with this. But like, this is the world we're in, and use a buddy system. Bring a friend.
I just saw a lot of things today. People were like, oh, but like, you know, they were so nice online, and you know, they were nice when I talked to them. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, okay, so
do that. Like, cool. If you've seen me on here and you think I'm like, oh, that Vontography dude seems cool, like, still bring a friend. Like, don't trust me. You don't know me.
In my shoots, like like
you don't know me.
Numbers, you guys.
If anything, it's more fun, you know. More friends.
Exactly. But more importantly, it's safer. Just don't be stupid.
Yeah. No.
Thank you.
Yes. That PSA brought to you by Cosplay Photography.
Well, now I don't have to talk about it, so that was my piece.
Yeah. As I was saying, feel free to suggest guests, but you know. Where was I? As always, please consider. Whoa. It's like we had Allison on for a second there. Please Please critique along with us. We'll be keeping our eye out on chat and looking at what you guys are saying and trying to bring your opinions in as well. We're not gonna be able to see or add all of them, but the more you guys add, the more we're gonna be able to see and add in. So, and it just makes it a hell of a lot more fun for us. So please critique along with us. It's just awesome when you do. If you enjoy what you're seeing here, please consider either giving a donation or a sub. Once again, as always, not expected at all, but they're greatly appreciated. I saw that Vash204 and Hikari, God, I've probably fucking mangled it again, and I'm like the worst.
Hikari.
I am so sorry, dude. I'm fucking terrible.
Sorry.
I'm terrible. Oh, and then Kaze Mike, thank you for the 100 bits. Dude, I'm so sorry every time. But yeah, donations and subs go a long way. Hikari, yeah. We'll pretend like that never happened. Hikari, thank you so much for that sub. Gonna change my name to Frank. Please, Hikari, just change it to Frank.
Can't help it that all these letters can be pronounced in different ways.
Yeah. But yes, donations and subs are greatly appreciated. They go a long way to help us continue doing this. My spiel, as always, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you have one free sub to give to whichever streamer you'd like every month. And if you do, why not here? Why not here? We'd appreciate it. But honestly, if not here, use it somewhere. For the love of God, don't give that money back to Jeff Bezos. He doesn't need it. Go. They're giving you free money to spend if you have Amazon Prime. Please use it. If you have Amazon Prime, use your sub.
And it doesn't auto renew.
Yeah, log into log into your relative's account and use their unused subs. Do it. Final thing, not final thing. As always, our opinions are just that, opinions. Don't take our word as law. We are not. Most of the people that we have on here are not professionals in this. We're doing this for fun, and we're just sharing our opinions. So if you don't agree with us, that's totally fine. We're just trying to share an opinion and help people improve, and we're not trying to be demeaning or harsh on anyone. So if you have different viewpoints on how you feel about a photo, that is totally legit. So just wanted to get that out there. Yeah. This is art, so it's difficult. And I will be posting the link to all the photos on Flickr so you can critique along with us. I'll post the link right now to the full album set so that you can all see them. But I'll try to be sharing the links to the individual photos as we get to them. If I forget to share one, though, I'm sorry, as we go along. But let's with that wrapped up, let's get into critiquing some photos. That sounds like a good idea. We getting a phone call?
I know. I was like,
What's that? That's me. I'm sorry. I was like, can they hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, this first photo is from Honey and Heather Photo, and she's also the cosplayer in the photo. I am pretty certain. I'd have to re-look at the submission, but I am like 90% sure that she is also the cosplayer in the photo. Sarah, do you want to start us off on this one?
Yeah. So right off the bat, I really love the colors in this. The complementary red and greens are actually, I think, working pretty well together. I like how they added some more blues back into the ivy. I mean, ivy's kind of already like that naturally, but I like that they brought more of the blues out. And you can also see more of the blues in the black of the costume as well. So I think the color toning this is like super nice. I'm zoomed in too much. Let me see what else. Yeah, overall, I think I like it a lot, especially if this was taken by them.
Yeah, it was. I just
it is okay. Yeah, I think the composition is like really interesting, and I like that kind of like how not last week, but 2 weeks ago we had someone that was shooting themselves in a different location, because I feel like a lot of the times you see people being set up in like studios that they've made in their house, which is fine, but it's just refreshing to see like people venturing like outside. And shooting outside, because that is in itself is its own beast in terms of, I mean, I don't even know how to shoot myself at all, so I can't even fathom trying to do that, battling with like light changing all the time and like weather and just nature in general. So I think that's really cool. The only thing is though, I think compositionally it's a little weak. I usually don't mind it like when the subject is like on the right and then there's like a ton of extra space in the left, but to me, it kind of just looks like the camera was like positioned wrong. Because her hand is like so, it's like touching the edge right there.
Yeah,
it's just so close.
Yeah, you're getting her knee cut off. Like,
yeah, honestly, I think if she was centered, it'd be nice, or something. But right now, she's just too close to the right, but like not enough. Yeah. So that's really my.
I think because of how it's framed too, like I almost lost how she was like sitting. It almost looked like she was standing when I like first looked at this photo.
I can see that. Yeah.
But like I think the way she's sitting is nice in this shot, but like just like because you're cutting off the one leg, like it just kind of you lose that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Also, just because her hand is so dark, with the like black glove, completely. I like almost didn't see her hand there. I thought it was off screen, but I had to like look closer to be able to see it.
Wait, so is she holding a remote then in this photo?
I could imagine that she would be in the one hand. It looks like maybe she could be.
She's just I like how she's hiding it really well. Like, you can't, I don't know, sometimes you can tell that they're like someone's hand is off camera because they're like using the remote, or like it's positioned in a weird, I like how her hands don't feel like that right away, so I think that's good too.
Yeah. Compositionally, I think this could actually work fairly well if it were just zoomed out just a little bit, like just like too close to the edge.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like my eyes are being taken like to the subject, and then like to that left part too.
That kind of open area on the yeah. I actually kind of like how it balances, like she's in the lower right and that open area is in the top left. Like, it kind of brings a little bit of balance there. Yeah. But I do kind of feel you, like my eyes maybe spend a little bit too much time on there. Maybe like bring down that brightness of that area just a little bit.
Yeah.
The remote was in your left hand. What?
No, what? I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, I would have expected it was in your right hand, not your left hand. Well, yeah, then shit, crazy. You nailed that.
One thing I noticed.
I'm so confused. Sorry.
One thing I noticed is the settings. The ISO was like really high, so it added grain. But actually, I actually like that though. Like adding grain, or even like post production, or just it was in the camera. Like the grain actually, it adds like a nice element to the photo as well.
Yeah. Settings for this shot, just so people know, is 1/500th of a second at 5.6 at ISO 1600.
But if you do one like less light or less grain, like for a different photo or something like that, I would probably say bring the shutter speed down and bring your ISO down.
I think I would have probably brought that shutter speed down and ISO down, especially because like I'm almost certain that this being a triggered shot has to have been on a tripod or some sort of very stable support system, so you can push that shutter speed pretty low and bring down that ISO.
I do agree though. I like the grain in this, especially like with the color grading.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's nice.
Do you guys feel like the reds are a little too red?
Yeah, I was literally. I think they're like the red channels probably just is clipping a little bit, I would guess.
It's a bit too hot.
Yeah, it's clipping. I looked. There's just like a bit that it clips for the red channel. So just tone that saturation down just a smidgen on her, just because, especially because like the greens and the rest of the photo aren't that saturated, that those reds are just like, whoa. I do like how they pop, but I would agree that it's just a little bit too strong.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For a self shot photo, I think this is pretty solid. I would maybe, I feel like maybe the bangs are a little bit intense. I'd maybe like to see a little bit more of your eye and maybe have your chin up just a little bit, but that is like, that kind of direction is like difficult to point out when you are the person directing a cosplayer, yet alone being the person taking a picture of yourself. Like, that's freaking hard. So I didn't want to dwell on that too much, because shit.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Me either.
Like, I know some people use their phone to like see the frame or something like that. Yeah.
And people will set up a mirror like behind
so
the
they
camera.
can see. Yeah,
I've seen
the
crazy
reflection
shit.
of their live view.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy shit. It's smart though.
Dude, I've tried to do that for some portrait work because I need new photos of myself professionally, and I'm just like, fuck, this is terrible. I hate it.
Yeah, I try to take photos.
And it's
I
so
try to take
bad.
photos of myself. I could not. I was like, how do you focus on yourself? I can't. How? What do I do?
Mike, I need you to take a new photo of me because I've been using the one you took at me at Colossal Con like 2016 for the longest freaking time.
For like a professional photo, like
yeah, like just like
stuff?
I have one where like I'm like taking a photo of you, and so it's like direct on, and I've been using that for my photography stuff for so long, and I'm like, damn it, I need a new decent photo of me.
Let's just take the same one.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Guys, have any further thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
Good job.
No.
Yeah, solid. Real solid. Oh man, I heard a sound. Let me check. Oh my god. Diegus, thanks for that $4.20 donation. We're not quite there yet.
Jesus
2 days off, but we'll take it. Should have been 418. But we'll take it anyways. Thanks, dude. Okay, let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from Masonic Hikari. Hickory Dickory Duck. Neil Bonabon submitted a shot.
Let's roast him. He's not even here.
He's at SakuraCon.
Wait, I'm gonna be like about to roast you.
Do it. It's fucking great.
All right, so I guess I'll take this one.
Yeah, Mike, why don't you start off on this one? Sorry, got distracted by our bullshit. Go ahead.
So this is the my son Hikari, the famous cosplayer is Jackie, and
it is Jackie.
The character with her so
I don't know
her.
her.
Awesome.
It's Rainicorn, Lady
and
Rainicorn.
That's Lady Rainicorn. And actually, you know what? I was a little afraid that I wouldn't know any characters in like this set. But I actually know Lady Rainicorn.
Usually it's like fake characters all the time, and I'm like,
really?
Fuck is yes.
This is different though. You guys have a different selection.
Literally, the running joke for a while was like, "Well, if we don't know, it's probably fake."
Yeah.
But then I watched Fate, and then I became
fucking Sarah. You just had to watch Fate and ruin our joke.
I know. I'm mad at myself.
Okay. Yeah, Lady Rainicorn. And this is a Gajinka design by Hannah Alexander. I haven't heard of them, but I did look them up. They have some cool stuff. In this photo, I like the flow, like, you know, like the cape flip. And I really like how the shutter speed is set just so perfectly to where like you see like a motion blur. So it gives it like a nice little motion to it from the blurriness of it. Like, I don't know if that was actually like from the camera or if it was done in post, but it looks pretty natural.
I'm almost certain it's in camera. If that was in post, then it was excellently done because it like gradually motion blurs out and like.
Yeah, I mean it's at
no, this is in camera. This is in camera.
Yeah, so that's a good speed to have that happen. And actually, like our cameras now are like so good that they can just freeze motion easily. You just throw the ISO up and just freeze the motion, put it at like 1/1000th of a second. But like good photographers, like sports photographers and stuff like that, they'll actually pull the shutter speed down to get like you can see the motion in the photo that they take. Or they do it for like car photos, like when they're doing a race or something. Like you'll see how they pan the shot and then get the background blurry, or like you could see like the tires are blurry. But you wouldn't be able to get that like if you just shot it, all the way at 1/1000th of a second.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that that he did. I don't know if it was on purpose, but yeah, that looks really nice. Another thing is this was shot at a con, but if you just look at this by itself, there was no way you could tell that.
Yeah, you'd almost think it was in a studio or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like it's a sky or something like that, like a cloudy sky. But yeah, that was at a Katsucon, like on that wall.
Yeah, he utilized that wall like really well.
Yeah, and it's also a wide angle, so wide angles are kind of hard to shoot at cons as well.
Especially Katsucon.
Yeah, just get people all up in the background. So I appreciate how he used that. It was really good.
So I think I know why he did what he did, but I still don't like it.
Okay, it's roast.
Well, compositionally, I think, or not. Maybe that's not the right word. The crop is kind of weak.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
he's done better. That's the only reason I'm gonna call him out for it. Like the floor there is like pretty ugly. Like it has that molding at the bottom. Then there's also like the big black strip of tiles too. So I can see like why he did it like this, but at the same time, it's cutting off at such a weird part. Like I almost want to. I mean, Jackie's pretty tall, but I want to say it's like cutting off like mid calf, which is a little awkward. And then there's also kind of like this headspace, but I don't really know why there's like all this headspace other than he was like trying to like not get the floor in.
Yeah, maybe the molding. But yeah, I agree too. Like just bring it down a little bit, unless there was that molding there that is you don't want that in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I believe that this shot had some photoshopping on the wall. Like I would be surprised if there was no photoshopping on the wall, and photoshopping out that molding is not hard to do at all as someone who has done it.
He photoshopped the wall. I think that's literally why it is the way it is.
I mean, you could be right. You could be.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think freaking Mason Composite here doesn't need to like nail the framing better and don't worry about having to Photoshop out that goddamn molding.
Well, especially because it's freaking Neil. Exactly.
Yeah,
like he can
exactly.
Do that. Yeah. So I think composite, like the where it's cropped or composition, whatever, it's not his best. But I think he's like highlighting the costume like super beautifully, like using that white wall was a really good idea. So the costume pops and the colors are super nice.
So I want to talk to you guys about this and get the feel. Like I actually really don't like the like white gray background. I actually think it's making the colors look duller, and especially like if you cover up like the highlight coming in from the left, I think the background looks super dull and boring. And it is my least favorite.
I think it's a little flat.
It is by far my least favorite thing about this shot.
Do you think bringing up the background's brightness?
I think
help?
if you made it bright, like almost even just took it straight to white, I think this shot looks much more interesting. I think it like it has the highlights are muted because like if you look at the histogram, like the highlights are like don't come into like around 248 versus 255, so they've been brought down like but even then like that I'm trying to see if I can like get the level of the background. Sorry,
you're gonna share it.
It almost reminds me of like doing a product box and you have like a white box or whatever, but like the background's like not bright enough and it comes out gray or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I actually like how it looks on the Twitch stream instead of my own computer.
But do you have your Twitch stream on a different computer screen than the one you're looking at? It that probably has more to do with the computer screen that you're looking at versus.
Yeah, it feels more flat on my Mac actually.
Yeah.
And then my external, it looks.
Yeah,
more
so like
vibrant.
if I can sample a color here, like from this side, we're getting like in the 190s to 200s here versus like this area is pretty bright, but even then like even the brightest parts of the image aren't pure white, but like this is like almost getting close to like medium gray, and I just think it's a bit too kind of flat and lifeless. I think maybe even if you brought some color in it, it could potentially work. I know why you left the color out, but right now I just think it feels a little bit too dull.
I'm gonna address something that the chat's kind of bringing up because I kind of agree.
Yeah, I was imagining I would get to that too, but go ahead, Sarah.
The posing.
Yeah.
Is that what you were gonna bring up?
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought she felt kind of stiff looking at the camera, which I know that's hard because she is very clearly was like on 3 she was rotating, and it is really hard to not like have your face and your neck feel very like locked up. But a lot of people are suggesting to have her like not actually look at the camera, but like look off to like to the left or something. And I agree. I think that would have been super beautiful. And then someone mentioned, Fluffy Fox Photo mentioned like looking up to your left, and then that way we can see more of her jawline and also the unicorn, Rainicorn horn. That could have created some like really beautiful shapes. So
I always
I
have
agree with
problems doing that for like a spinning photo. But how would you guys like tell them to so that you get that at the end? Like tell them to like look that way at the end and then stop
So
after
basically
the
not yeah, so basically like their end goal is not to look at you but to look off somewhere else.
like after the spin is done, basically.
Yeah. If you're going to do that, I tell them like find a specific spot for them to look at. Like
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
like a
Like, figure
corner
out
of a
how-
building, like something like that, and be like,
Yeah.
look at that exact spot.
But like establish that before they do the spin. So you
Yes.
can like kind of frame it up so you kind of have a general idea of what you're gonna be looking, and then tell them, be like, okay, so then when you're done spinning, look at that corner of that building or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing posing and wise is her arm is totally straight.
Yeah.
There needs to be some bend in the elbow, and that's hard, but that's something I would get. And then I think I saw this as well in the comments is I'd do a little bit of more retouching on her like armpit area.
Yeah, it is a little out there.
Personal opinion time for me is the blur in this shot for me is directly in between what I want it to be. Like it's not blurry enough for me to want it to be motion blur. Like if you're going to go the motion blur route, I want it to be substantially blurrier than this.
Mm-hmm.
Or I want
So,
it
like,
to be frozen.
some more blur, right?
Maybe not even post process it, although that would be interesting to see. But I would love to see, like, if you're gonna, if your goal is to get the motion blur in this shot, I want to see it blurrier. And this was taken at 1/125th of a second, which is well within hand holding range, especially at like, let me check what the.
It's like 32 or something.
Yeah, this was taken at 32 millimeters. So like 32 millimeters, you probably handheld that or like around 40th of a second, somewhere around there. Like you can get a lot more. I admit that you run the risk of blurring the face in the shot there, but usually what I do just to make sure that I have something there is I take another shot where the face is like she's not in motion, so that you can get like a kind of a baselines of a sharp photo.
Yeah.
So
you're saying either go all out.
Yeah,
or
go all out
blur at
or
all.
try and freeze it more. It just feels like it's starting to look cool, but like you could take it a lot further and it would look prettier, personally.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's something I want to respond to that Marie Hawk in the chat said she kind of liked the straight arm. Almost always I think straight arms don't look very good in photos. You want like a slight bend in like most places. On bodies, like bends make things look like more interesting, unless you're trying to like do a very like early 1900 futurist style photo where every angle is the sharpest and straightest possible. Then I think in general we want lots of curves and fluid.
It just feels very stiff.
Yeah. And she doesn't need a lot of bend there. Like she just needs a little bit. Like her other arm has like only like the littlest amount of elbow bend, but I think that works really well. She just needs just a little bit. Just a little bit. Otherwise, I feel like I was harshing on this photo a lot. I think the colors are really nice. I think that some subtle editing, you could really make this photo pop a lot more.
That was the point, though. You guys were harshing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Got to tear into that Masonic home. I mean, Mason Hikari.
Mason Hikari.
Okay. You guys got have any
Man,
final?
I wish I was watching. I'm so mad. Why are you at Garugamesh comment?
I love anime.
And manga. I'm gonna see if he didn't respond. Fuck.
I love.
Come on, man. Check your freaking
I love
internet.
Japan.
Let's go.
Period. Oh wait, no, it's
DDR.
in gaming.
Yeah, we had some trouble like figuring what that was saying. What he was saying.
In
That is so
gaming.
weird.
It was like
Yeah.
gaming.
Gaming. Yeah.
Gaming.
Gaming.
Y'all, we were watching the commercial before the stream started, and I got to this point, and I was like, Mike, what is this guy saying?
I thought he was saying something Japanese. I was like, what?
Me too. I was like, what is this word?
Garugamesh.
Garugamesh.
I kid you not, I've got a Garugamesh t-shirt. It's in my closet.
You should have worn it.
God damn it.
It's SoccerCon weekend.
Dude, it's like a PJ only shirt because it's really old and it's got holes in it. Okay, let's move on to this next photo.
Garugamesh.
Okay, this next one is from Allison. Actually, you know what? This was before she started her Instagram page, and I'm gonna hype her up because Allison just opened a new Instagram photography page.
Okifoti.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure you're right. It's Okifoti. So you don't need to used to love Garugamesh. You can still love Garugamesh, Elizabeth. Come on, get in it.
Garugamesh.
I genuinely loved Garugamesh before that meme came out, so I was just like, oh no. So yeah, Okifoti. Let me grab that Flickr link. I am so distracted tonight. I'm sorry. Was that burp in her honor?
It was weak. I'm sorry, Allison. I should be drinking root beer instead.
Dude, root beer makes me the freaking burpiest. It's
why
like,
is
I don't
that?
even know.
Is that just me? Oh my god.
No, it's not. Like, fucking
Well, I'm
blows
gonna
me
start
up.
this photo while you take 10 years to
Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm
These
sorry.
colors are great.
Yeah, no, the colors are really awesome. The blue and orange on her outfits with the orange and blues in the shadows are just it's awesome. I like her pose in the shot. Melinda's killing it as always.
As always. So talented. Whatever, Melinda Chan.
Yeah,
Dope as fuck.
I think my only real complaint about this shot is the slight misfocus. Like the focus seems to have landed on the sleeves and not her face, but like
I did notice that too.
Yeah,
but for an Instagram picture, like you couldn't tell.
I mean, like I
just noticed the leaves.
Yeah, I've got some nitpicky stuff. I was gonna say, like, I think the leaves falling, I wish they were falling in more areas so that like more in front of her and to the right so that we could really see them. They're really only falling on the left, so they're hard to see. Blame Rachel. Okay.
Blame Rachel.
I will blame Rachel. Feels like because of the color editing, there's some like a little bit of weird artifacting going on in the background. It's a little funky dunky.
Like where?
If you look like where the grass area is, like where the grass and orange, like there's kind of that harsh color lines where like the color grading just didn't play nice with the photo. That makes it feel a little weird because I don't think this was a fall color shot. I think this was forced to be fall colors. I believe.
I have like a personal opinion about some of the grading.
Yeah, go for it.
I like the attempt at like the, I don't know what to call it other than like the faded look. Maybe it's also because I've just been seeing it a lot lately, so maybe I'm just like I'm over it. But I think it makes the photo feel a little bit flat. Do you know what I mean? The faded look. I don't even know what like the right word is.
The film look.
Yeah, it's those lifted shadows. Those crushed blacks.
I think it's a touch too. It's the opposite of what I thought crushed blacks were. Anyway, I think it's a little too much for me. I think it was just like not or brought down.
I would say brought up, brought up just a little bit because you're lifting the shadows. You're lifting. I don't
want the shadows to be lifted. I want them.
So bring the shadows back down.
Oh, bring them back down. Oh, I see. Yeah. There we go.
So you want more contrast in the background and stuff.
I do but the thing is like you can still have contrast, but also still have the faded look. I think there's too much fade. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, totally. I was playing around with it in Photoshop and I brought back in. I'll screen share here. So, I used just curves. God damn it! Stop making a weird selection. So I just used this to bring back in those shadows, and I think it just looks a little
yes,
bit better.
Oh my god. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the main reason though is because like the background is not quite bokeh out enough for me to like. This is me being picky because Allison is good. Yeah, it definitely helps. But I think because there's like not enough, like the background is detailed enough that I'm not having enough separation visually, I guess. And that's why I think the faded look is not working because it feels a little flat. But anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't know.
Mike, I know what you're saying, Sarah. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm just saying a bunch of words. I'm probably biased because I am a little over the faded look, but whatever. It's fine. It's just a personal preference. It's a great photo. The colors are great. Whatever. Nice leaves.
So I was gonna say it one. Oh,
that's separation.
Okay, we're back.
From
we're back. Sorry, the video dropped out for like a hot second, and I'm like,
oh, did it?
Oh, yeah, no. We're back. We're good. I like had a mild like panic attack. I'm like, oh fuck. What I was gonna say is theoretically you could go for like the Kaze Photography look where in this shot where you have those lifted shadows, but just in the background.
Yeah.
Like this look.
Like only add the shadows and mask those shadows out of the subject.
Yeah. So like
I do that a lot.
Yeah, so like the subject still has a bunch of shadows on, but I still think the background is a little bit too washed out. Since
just here.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think it kind of doesn't look like she's actively playing that instrument. Like her fingers look mostly right, but it doesn't look like her lips are doing the thing.
But she's like smiling instead of like.
Yeah.
Which I know could probably look weird.
I mean, like I don't really freaking know because like I don't play any instruments, so like I can't really say. My wife plays the flute, so maybe she could have like a more solid opinion, but I just kind of feel like it doesn't look right. I could be totally wrong though, so like disclaimer.
It looks like she's not actively playing it. She's about to or something.
Yeah,
because her lips like aren't on the instrument right now.
But you don't put them on it. You blow across with that. So like,
yeah, we're not experts.
Yeah, yeah. So like, fuck, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like this photo though. I was ragging on it, but I do really like it. I think like overall the colors are really solid.
Yeah.
I think I maybe would have tried to get that last bit of green out of the shot in the background though.
Just make it all orange.
Yeah.
Or at least bring like a little more blues
just a little, yeah. Or take those greens a bit more blue. Like right now they're just a bit like I'm not a big fan of those greens in the background.
And for throwing stuff like in photos, like one thing that I do is I would like take multiple pictures and just like have them have the person stand like right behind them even though they're in the shot and just like throw stuff like over there on the other side and then just like Photoshop them together, like the leaves that are in the good spots, like you can Photoshop those in. But it is kind of hard because you have to like stand in the same place and keep taking photos.
It does work though, especially when you only have like one assist, but you need leaves coming in from like multiple directions. I've done that before.
One really useful thing in Photoshop is auto align layers, so that even if you do move a little bit between each photo, like it can just put them all together.
Yes, I've done that as well. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It's the greatest.
Okay, you guys got any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot? Cool. Let's move on to the next shot. Before we do, want to give a shout out, thank you to Fluffy Fox Photo and Fiora Eterna. I'm so sorry, I butchered that. I'm bad. But thank you both for those Twitch Prime subs. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. But with that, let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from Kai or YGK Photography. And Sarah, do you want to start us off on this one?
Yeah. So I really like the location for this photo. Like, I feel like I very rarely see like Madoka photos taken in like. I mean, I haven't seen the show in a long time, but I do feel like they do fight in this kind of environment once, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
it's dark like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because like usually it's like when people shoot this, it's like very ethereal and like very like magical girl.
And then there's like the shadow world.
And then there's like the dark. Yeah. So I think it's cool that they found a location like this. That's awesome. I also like the I think the execution could be like a tiny bit better, but I like the idea of like almost like capturing, oh my god, what's her name? Mommy. Like it's almost kind of like it's more narrative. Like it's not like a beauty shot or anything. Like it's cool how it's kind of like you're kind of viewing her from like a viewer's perspective, for lack of a better term. Like I said, what are words? Anyway, so I think that's pretty cool. And the bars in the foreground are also pretty interesting because you get a sense of like where maybe, I mean, it could be like one of the other characters, maybe like observing her or something. So I think narratively, this is like super strong.
It's got that
I just don't like
voyeuristic look, not in the
I
creepy
didn't
sense
want to
of
say
the word.
that.
I know that word.
sounds
That word
weird.
has creepy connotations. I don't mean it creepy.
So we have Creamy today.
Creamy,
I
voyeuristic.
hate it. Oh, stop talking.
Whoops.
Yeah, like that. I don't know. Anyway, but I like it. I think it's cool, and it's like a different take on Madoka photos. The only thing like I said, I kind of wish like the bar from the railing wasn't like going like through her head, but also maybe that's kind of interesting because
Well, lots of people in chat were saying that they did not like the bar bar going directly through her head.
I wish like the photographer could have just to the right more, so like
just like a little bit, and it could have been cool for framing her better too, like
exactly
in between maybe.
It's just cutting off too much of her body, so I don't really like that, and it's pretty distracting.
Hey Sarah, let me ask you this:
No.
Did you realize that it was a flash photo?
Yes.
Okay. But I mean, it looks like it's hard to tell. I think, right?
No,
that it's a flash photo. You can tell
because the highlights on her nose are very sharp, and also the light, the way it's catching on those curls, and also the leather on the corset.
It feels a little harsh, maybe.
I'm not going to comment on the lighting because I don't even.
I'm not
fathom how you would do that in this tight way.
I'm not in love with it, but I don't dislike it either. Something I forget who in chat said this, but Marie Hawk said that she would have liked to see the muzzle in this shot, and I agree. Just having it like cut off by the bar looks a little funny. I would have liked to see the very end of the gun. Just in general, her grip on the gun is a little funky.
A little odd.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have your thumb over like holding over the barrel. You'd have like the stock on your shoulder. It's not the greatest gun hold in the world. It's not the worst because Lord knows I've seen much worse, but
trigger.
So that trigger safety thing doesn't matter here because she's actually shooting. Like that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
but like just the rest of her holding the gun isn't great. But there have been much worse gun photos, so I don't want to harsh on it too much. Something I feel like for I've seen this in YGK photos in the past. I would like to see the color grading taken a little bit further. I think you've got a solid base, and I think you could have gone further and like you've got all these really lovely reds in the shot. You've got these red and orange color palette, but like the black of these bars has like no color to it. It's almost pure black.
Yeah.
If you took that and lifted it and just made it like a little bit red, that could be cool to just bring a little bit more color and color grading into the shot.
I kind of feel like maybe the oranges are a little too saturated.
Yeah. I think like mostly in the skirt too.
And the hair maybe? I don't think her hair is usually that orange.
Yeah, that might just be the wig color.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do agree. I think it's a little too
Have you guys ever edited wig colors? Wig,
No.
like the different
Yeah.
Like to make it what I think is accurate.
Yeah, Andrew's
No.
like, yeah, I've done
Yeah.
it.
So actually a big thing of what I've done is and I wonder if you've done this, Miku, is when you have like the main one I've done this for is like if I'm shooting a Horo from Spice and Wolf and their wig color and their ears and tail color are
Don't match.
That's different.
slightly off, is
Yeah.
I will try and
Mm.
match those. And I feel like
Huh.
You mean they'll, like,
Mr.
change
Cat
the
Girl over
color.
here, I imagine you've done some
Actually, I haven't thought about that, but now
come on.
I'll make sure that they match.
It's like my biggest peeve. Oh my god, this one Fate character. I hate how ears and tail don't match their fucking hair color. It drives me crazy.
Wait, like official? Like it doesn't match?
Yeah, to Momo.
I fucking
Tamomo.
I fucking hate her character design with a burning passion. I won't get into it, but
I'm like, okay, orange and pink. That's disgusting.
it's so
I
bad.
hate that they don't match.
It's
Hey,
so
don't talk about my
bad.
waifu like that, guys. Come on.
That's your
so bad.
waifu and
No, I'm just
Fate.
kidding.
Get out of here. Get out of here. You're off the
I
stream.
mean, she is a cat girl, so.
You're out of the stream. Okay. Sorry, we're derailing again.
Sorry, I can't. Every time I see it, I'm like, I know it's accurate. I can't stand it. It was a poor design decision on the staff's.
You got any other thoughts on this one?
No.
You guys
Cool.
covered it all, what
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Cool. Let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from
Oh, these colors are so nice.
Sorairo-Days. Mike, do you want to start us off on this one?
Dude, these colors, so good. So good. The cosplayer's name is Yagi, and this is from Sword Boys that I don't know anything about.
Sword Boys.
Sword Boys.
They look nice.
With the Z at the end. Sword Boys.
I know
I
I was.
didn't know this person did photography.
I didn't either. I've been
They
following
follow
her
me on Twitter.
I've been following their cosplay stuff, and I'm like, wait, you shoot photos? Damn it.
Wait, are they on Instagram?
And I did go to their page and like look a little bit in the photos, and this place is actually, I think it's like a church with like this cool like glass. I don't know if you guys heard of this, but it's like dichroic film glass. Have you heard of
Yes,
Well, this is in Canada, right?
I don't know.
That con, you know that con that has all the different colored glass. Someone in chat will know.
And you can
Oh.
actually see like the glass like light coming and hitting them like on the face there. Like you can see the pink and stuff.
Mhm.
So,
I love the color cast on the cosplayer in this shot. That's like maybe my favorite part, is that like the colors don't feel limited to the background. They feel like they're being cast on the cosplayer, and they're just such a lovely spectrum.
Mhm.
God, I had no idea they did photography. This is sorry.
Dichroic film, I think is
dichroic film. Yep.
Yeah, she says the background is large glass windows covered in dichroic film, and it's really easy to have these things reflect off of the windows. I spent a large amount of time removing my assistant who did the cape flip from the reflections.
Amazing.
I really like the little what are they called? Little light prism things like on the bottom
those are nice.
part. I don't know if that was like in camera or added, but I like those.
They work.
They're pretty. My God, this watermark is so small. Just to continue small watermark conversations we've had.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it until I zoomed in.
Also, you guys can use your emotes because we have a Dutch
angle. Thank you.
But I think it works good here. Like
I
with the
don't
cape
have
flip
much
and
of a
stuff.
problem in it.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I have problems with Dutch angles, it's because you have strong horizontal lines.
Yes.
And this one has strong vertical lines, but they just don't particularly bother me here.
Well, because there's no like, because I think for me it's like it's when you're in a natural setting, like a landscape, and like the horizon line is like at a 45-degree angle, and you're like, oh my, this is tilting.
I think it also works because the cape flip is taking up that space. Like, that said, I want to get into pose a little bit. I think that the cape flip for the pose feels like a bit over exaggerated to me.
So I know why. because this is Taobao fabric and this shit does not flip nice.
Oh, I believe that. I believe
It's
that
super
totally.
stiff.
It just like flops. You drop it and then nothing happens. Like, God fucking damn it. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I believe that. I've worked with
I
this.
can feel it already. Oh, God. I've tried so many times. It's just...
I noticed in this photo there's actually no motion blur. So I don't know if that would help. Maybe
No.
to add it in post.
The shape of it is just Taobao.
Oh, Bobo, we're gonna talk about ironing. We're gonna get there.
Digital ironing.
Yeah, that's the other
That's
thing.
what I got
with this
roasted
cape
on in
is-
my photo.
Yeah, fucking this fucking bad boy cape flip action is just begging for some digital ironing. It's just like a bit crunchy with those hard lines in there. Like Sarah, I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's just
that Taobao fabric. I'm telling you.
It's just crunchy.
I know. But I also feel because ironing this fabric is the worst.
This ain't creamy. This is crunchy. Although this,
well, back to pose.
Yeah, the pose. Go ahead.
I kind of wish their left hand was like reaching out, maybe. Like this pose, like the whole environment feels like idol, even though it's like sword boys. Maybe there's like an idol AU. I don't. But I kind of wish their arm or like was out a little bit, so there was like some negative space here. But right now it's just very blocky feeling. So I kind of wish their left arm was doing like something. Again,
I wonder if they had the sword in their left arm.
Oh, that would have been really cool if it was out like this.
Yeah.
That'd be so
that would make the cape flip feel way more believable too.
Yeah, like
because right now it feels like the cape flip is just like boom, but there's like no motion in the cosplayer, and like wind would not just flip your cape like that. Like, so I think that would help a lot. Frequency separation would be great, as Sarah said in the chat, to get rid of those digital ironing.
Amazing.
Or to do digital ironing. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look at your tutorial again.
Yeah, I've got a tutorial on how I personally do it. If you guys want to check that out on YouTube.
Your retouching game tenfold. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, it's upped my editing speed so much.
You guys got any final thoughts on this one?
Like
this is a great photo. I had no idea this person.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like the exposure's a little low on the subject?
I think it's low, but I like it.
I like the back. Yeah, the backlit.
It gives it this moody feeling. I think if the subject were brighter, I think it would feel a bit more happy-go-lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, with the kind of the colors being like pastel-y but like underexposed, it makes it a little bit moodier. It doesn't make it too idly feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marie asks what the camera settings were on this shot, and I can pull those up. They were shot Canon Rebel T3 at 1/160th of a second, f3.2, ISO 100 on an 85mm 1.8.
For some reason, I can't see that on Flickr. I don't know why.
Yeah, me either.
Well, I have the file, so that's where I'm just pulling it. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why. Like I had to click a button that said show EXIF data on.
I did too, but even then, it's like not.
It's just giving me a big dump
of bullshit.
Yeah, it's just like, you want the bit samples per bit. You want what compression levels it's giving. Yeah, I'm like, no, I don't actually. Thank you, but no.
One more small thing is this not in focus.
I think maybe it was like ever so slightly out of focus, but like it's so subtle. I can still make out individual eyelashes, so like whatever. Yeah. Like
now, but it's because it's like after you settings. Now I'm kind of like
I feel like I feel like it might not. It might be in focus, but it might be like soft. Like
Yeah.
from
Oh.
like the hardware or something like that. But
I don't know.
Because the hydrangeas are like pretty sharp looking to
Yeah.
me. But the eyes aren't.
It's hard to say.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's viewed on Instagram.
That's super. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from Marie Hawk, who I know is in chat because she had the very last comment that's in there. Let me paste that Flickr link for you guys. And I know this one was interesting because I wouldn't have thought this beforehand, but she said in the comment is that the spark effect was done in camera, initially at least, and then graded in post, and I was very surprised.
Wait, which effect?
The sparks. Yeah.
Those are sparks. Oh my god. Okay.
So actually, it's kind of funny because they're actually, it's like tall grass that has been like lit and like brightened in post and super sharpened to make it look like sparks, which I think is a super inventive way to do that.
Wow.
It does. It's hard because I feel like if you look at it, sometimes you can still like read it as grass.
Actually, I thought it was tall grass at first.
Yeah, and I think
grass.
Yeah, I think that can be hard. Like if you still read it as grass, like it can be a little weird. I think what could work to help improve that is if you added like a layer like of some artificially like overlaid sparks, just to kind of sell it a little bit more. I think that could help. I really like the idea. Also, something that I was surprised about that, but makes sense, is actually the lens flare is natural in this shot too.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's picking up because they used a flash to make that light down there. So it's actually the lens flare picked up the light from the flash.
I said it's intentionally meant to be grass that can be read as sparks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting approach. I think I would like to see it like pushed a little bit further in post with like a spark overlay, but I think it was a solid attempt. I really like the rendering of the light on the cosplayer. I don't know the cosplay, but I think it looks really solid. I love how much texture like we're getting in the prop, like by the handle. We're getting all this texture here. And just the light on them is quite lovely. I think I would like to like the background just ends up feeling a bit cluttered to me. There's a lot going on, and it's not that bokeh out, so like there's just a lot of texture going on. I think that's part of what is throwing me off with the sparks, is because there's a lot of texture going on in the bottom left of the photo, but then there's also a lot of texture going on throughout the photo, so it kind of makes it a little bit hard for my eyes to land on the like spark texture or the cosplayer, even just because there's so much texture.
I was actually I was gonna say actually I don't like the lens flare, only because it is one component that I'm like competing against. It's like lens flare models. Like I think even if just the lens flare wasn't there, that would have helped a lot with the busy background.
I also think you could have some more fun with the color grading on this shot. There's lots of browns in this shot, and actually my least favorite part of the shot is kind of those yellowy green colors. And I think you could take them even warmer and just play with like the reds in the shot a little bit more, and just take everything a little bit warmer and kind of make this photo feel, for lack of a better term at the moment, hotter.
No, I think that would look nice though.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the photo like from a different angle, like more in front, and like bring the camera down and like have the sparks come into the camera. Something like that, maybe.
That would be cool. Also,
that would be cool.
Maybe this is just a thing because I don't know the show, game, cosplay, whatever. I genuinely don't know what they're doing with this weapon. Like, I don't, like, it looks like it's like a giant, like Warhammer kind of thing.
What
and
is this from?
It's a game.
I
What
don't
game?
know. It is Awen Sildalet from Atelier Esha and Lalji, whatever the fuck that is. Sorry, I probably butchered that, but I
only know that because I shot someone.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. But point being is, I don't really understand this weapon. Like, maybe it's just my misunderstanding of it. But like, I feel like the sparks would be coming from like the hammer being dragged this way, but it looks like the hammer's coming towards us. So like, the spark direction doesn't quite make sense, and like, I just don't really understand the movement of the weapon. And once again, it just could totally be from me not understanding how the weapon works. But
right.
Oh, she said she couldn't stand there to get that frontal photo.
You guys got any other thoughts on this one?
No.
I'll take that silence. It was like silence is saying no to me. So let's. With that, I think we are ready for our short break. We will be back in about 5 minutes. While we were gone, you guys have a task. You have one task and one task only, and that's to think up some questions to ask of us. We'll be back and we'll be doing our Q&A session. So like, think of some awesome questions, and we will be back shortly. Heyo, we're back. Let's do this. We got Q&A time.
Let's get spicy. Just kidding, please.
I was like, really, Sarah? You want to do
The
that?
Sarah Q&A rants.
I don't want.
Okay. We got a lot of questions that came in over break. So let me.
Ara? I need Ara's good.
I only take Ara's good questions.
They always come in with something hot, just out of nowhere. Whoa, that was. I never would have thought about that.
All right, so let me make sure to get that going. Okay, cooly dooley. Elizabeth Rochelle asks, what's the hardest edit you have ever done, and what made it hard? I know for me, it was How to Train Your Dragon composite that I did.
Oh my god, what?
I was being over ambitious with my idea, and I was like, like, have you ever had it where like your idea of a location and how the location actually ends up being are like totally different things? Well, that's kind of how this pavilion was. I was shooting across a river with lights to do this shot. And like,
oh, man.
Like my idea in my head of this shot was so epic. And then I shot it and I was just like, wow, this is just mediocre. But I really, really like, I'd hyped this shot up so much and I'm like, I fucking need to make it work. So
I want to see it.
Okay. let me see if I can't pull this up here.
I don't think I've ever seen a composite by you.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not traditionally what I'd call a composite because it's not like a total image replace. Like it's not just the subject in any real. Here, let me see.
Mason Hikari level.
No. Let me see if I can find it. How to Train Your Dragon.
It kind of reminds me of that one photo you did, Sarah, like at Otakon. With like the pop stars or whatever, and you like change the background.
Okay, this Photoshop file's fucking huge.
You don't remember?
It's one.
No, what are you talking
about? You guys got any thoughts while this is opening up?
I'm trying to think of a hard edit that I've done.
It's always like the photos where like the exposure is completely wrong, like the background's too bright and the subject's too dark, and you like try to beat up the photo a lot just to get it to look right, and it just takes so long.
Yeah,
I guess I never thought that's. I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but like I like that kind of challenge. So I've never really considered something as like hard. I just like the. I guess. I'm sorry. I'm like going through my stuff, and I was like, I don't fucking know.
Okay, so I got this loaded up now. So quick share. I in order to get this to work, I have to go away from the Q&A real quick and into someone's photo so I can screen share. So sorry about this. This is the only way I have this set up for right now, which is weird. So this is a photo I was talking about, where I had like this brilliant idea, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna look great. Let's remove the color and then the dodge and burn. Let's remove those mountains from the background and the sky. And then
this is composite.
This is what this shot looks like straight out of camera. It's not.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ew.
That like removing of shit.
Wow.
To clean up that foreground. And
that's totally worth it.
Then like putting those mountains at like, yeah, like.
Did you have to rebuild the pillar and stuff?
Yeah. It was like one of those things where you hype up the idea so much, where you're just like, fuck, I gotta make it work now. Like I can't just be like, the shot wasn't nearly as good as I wanted it to be. Nice. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make it work. So I just forced it to work. So that was.
I found a shot.
Yeah.
I found a shot that I vividly remember now. I'm gonna post the link. I was shooting a lot of Overwatch at Otakon. Wait, is this Otakon? Yes, Otakon. And Twinsic asked me if I could shoot their May because it was being sponsored by Miko Costumes or something. And I knew I wanted to get like one shot from her, like is it the highlight reel, Mike? I can't like when.
Yeah. I think that's a highlight reel.
Yeah, that pose. I really wanted to get that, and for some reason I had it in my head. I was like, man, if we do it against like the wall that's on the lobby of this hotel at Otakon, it'll like work so good. And then I remember the whole like when I saw the shot like on my computer for the first time, I was like, hot garbage. And so I was like, oh my god, this is going to take so much work. And I think this is not my thing, but you know, at the end of the day, I was pretty happy. This is probably definitely my hardest edit to date because it just took so much.
Realized I'm gonna do this to once again do this the jank way, but like so people can see it on stream. This is the photo Sarah was talking about. Yeah,
it was just it's like when you have that vision of what you want it to be like exactly, and it's just like trying to execute it just so long, and I just was like, holy fuck, and you're like, was that even worth it? I don't know.
I think I feel I like that shot too, but like I feel you. I really feel you.
Oh man, when I was done with it, I was like, yes, I can move on. That was probably one of my hardest shots.
Mike, got anyone that comes to mind? It's okay if you don't.
What's that? You talking to me?
Yeah. No, the other mic that's on the stream.
The other mic.
Sorry, you like went out for a second.
It's okay if you don't have a photo that comes to your mind.
Just like like I said before, like any photo with like the bad lighting and stuff, it's just
to like recover it basically.
Yeah, to like recover it, beat it up a lot. But yeah, not any specific photo. I've had to do that a lot of times, I think.
Sorry, I'm not gonna remember whose name is attached to what comment at this point. So the next question we're gonna go to is, what's the worst location you've ever shot in outside of a convention?
Like willingly?
Like for me, I think it's probably like the case of like a location that you thought was gonna be amazing and turns out like it was horrible.
Like what you just showed?
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, it was not great.
I can't think of any.
For me, I know it's actually a case of just being denied shooting at locations. Like that's usually what has ended up making like a location suck that would have been awesome. like I wanted to do a shoot at the Milwaukee Art Museum, which is
I remember this.
Yeah, and
The Weiss.
Yeah,
right?
I was shooting Weiss, and it's a great environment for her. And like within a very short period of time of going in there, we got yelled at because we weren't allowed to do professional photography in there. Professional photography, and I'm just like, yo dude, this is not professional at all, but like whatever, I just got a big lens, like doesn't make it professional. And they're like, yeah, sorry, no. So they're like, you can take photos on your phone though. So I was just like,
cool, let me whip out my OG iPhone.
Yeah, so what I would do is this speaks to the kind of person I am, I guess. I'd do all the composing for the shot and frame it up on my phone and act like I was doing phone pictures,
so
and then I'd have my camera right next to me and I'd be like, okay, you ready? Boom! I'd take the like one shot on my DSLR and then like go back to acting like I was taking pictures on my phone. So yeah. So I did get some photos out of shooting there, but it could have been a lot better than it was.
I guess like just going out and the weather is like not working or something. That's kind of bad.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I've gotten kicked out of places too.
I haven't yet, knock on wood.
Yeah, it's a bummer when it happens, because you're just like, especially sometimes when you're just like, wait, why? Like that happened to me at Anime Milwaukee, where we got kicked out of a location where I was just like, fucking why though? Like, why do you care? What?
Like, do we look like professionals?
Yeah, and it was in a freaking, it was in like a mall, and that mall's being like mostly remodeled, so it's fucking
weird.
empty, and it was just like, what the fuck? It was stupid. Okay. Next question asks, ooh, that is going off screen. Is there one thing that you would go back and tell yourself when you first started getting into cosplay photography?
Yes. Stop worrying about what everyone else is doing, and like, this is a good space for no reason. No, it's like I think we get too caught up in like what we need to do in order to stay relevant, and I think that takes away from like the art of photography. Yeah, I would tell my past self to like not care about that kind of stuff, because I think that makes you start, I don't know, like editing a certain way or using lights, someone else's lights, and like doing things that you're not necessarily like into, but doing it because you want to stand. Like, there are other ways to stand out against competition, but like I don't know. Like, it sounds really cheesy, but it's like, stay true to like what you want it to be. Like, don't let like social media dictate to you like what your followers should think your photography should be. Like, only you can tell yourself it can be. I think getting caught up in that crap.
I have a much lamer answer.
A much what?
Lamer answer.
Why?
I would literally go back and tell myself all the things that I shouldn't spend money on photography wise, because I end up like replacing it or get different things, or it doesn't work and do what I want it to do. I could have saved so much money by not doing that.
Just life.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucking life, but like I'm looking back at the things like I would change photography wise the most, and I'm like, man, I probably could have like actually bought like $1,000 worth of gear that I would have actually ended up using, instead of like buying like lights that ended up not working, or fucking the plethora of camera bags I have.
I'll be like me and have no camera.
Yeah, dude, like, I don't know. That's like the like, it's a stupid answer, but it is truly like the one that I think would be the most helpful, because there's so much things that like feel like you can only learn with time. And even if if I could go back in time and tell myself like to do those things, I wouldn't necessarily understand them at that given time period. But like if I could go back in time and be like, yo dude, don't buy those fucking Godex flashes because the batteries are gonna fail on you within a month, I'd be like, okay, sweet, thanks for that information.
I feel like some people have told me what I would tell myself, but I didn't listen to them. Maybe.
Yeah, no, totally.
Because I think Sarah told me before, like, just get a full frame, just jump right in. And that is kind of hard because you don't know if you're gonna you don't know how serious you're gonna get into photography, so it's kind of tough to make that decision. Like, I would get an entry level camera at first, and then if I really did enjoy it, then like jump to a full frame maybe. But like what I did was I just bought a bunch of slightly better cameras and wasted a lot of money, kind of. But
well, because the model you were like comparing it to is like you may as well have just jumped the frame. That's why I said like
exactly.
the price difference was like.
So that's why that's probably what I would tell myself.
I ended up kicking myself by buying a lens for crop sensor only, and then turning around and buying a full frame camera like a year later, and then having to sell that lens and buy the full frame equivalent. And that would be another area where I would have been like, don't buy that thing, just wait and buy the other thing, and you'll save money.
Your Wisconsin accent just came out so hard.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
Let that one slip.
I don't know if more or less see if we have any interesting questions to this. Is what's the most traumatic experience you've had shooting?
Sarah is not allowed to answer that question.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
The most traumatic?
I feel like it would trigger you.
I've got one, but it's not cosplay.
Please don't jump in front of my camera while I'm shooting without.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah. Just don't do it. It's rude as fuck.
When people try to take over your shoot.
People fucking shooting over my shoulder without asking. Also, they're not asking the cosplayer either. Like, how, like, excuse me, ask the model too. But yeah, like, when people jump, I've literally had people jump in front of, in front of my camera, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck do you think I'm doing? Like, I'm shooting this person right now. Or they'll be, like, shooting over my shoulder. Or even they'll ask, be like, oh, is it okay if I, like, frame up a shot too? And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they just start shooting. Bro,
no? Okay.
Come on. Yeah. Like, just be an asshole. Like, ask. If I got paid every time some asshole went in front of my camera because they thought they were so important, I'd be a fucking millionaire.
I think Breland imagery got us all beat with saying I almost got shot by the cops.
Oh my god.
How the fuck? Wait,
we need to know more. We need to know more about that.
Yeah, you can't say that and then like not tell us. Give us at least just a TLDR.
So actually my worst experience happened shooting skiing where I got to watch a dude break both of his wrists about 2 feet in front of me.
The dude that was snowboarding?
Yeah, it was skiing. It was came off a rail and Supermaned down like a flight of like 10 stairs and landed on both of his wrists and compound fractured both of his wrists. It was bad. It was not great.
Oh my god, that makes me hurt just thinking. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not great. It was not a great time. So like
did you hear it?
Did you hear the bones break? I didn't hear the bones break, but I heard the screams afterwards, so that was not great.
Dang.
Oh god, ew.
That's one thing I'm scared about doing photography is what if someone goes somewhere and falls off of something?
Yeah, Elizabeth Rochelle says I fell off a mountain and cracked my lens. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you just you can't I feel like cracking the lens is the least important part of I fell off a mountain. Like,
how's your body?
Oh
boy,
That's a not a good call.
Yeah, I don't think I have any crazy stories. You guys have me wait beat. It's like, what?
Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, Eric Jaws in chat says there was a security guard that drove up to him and said, told the cosplayer to put the gun on the ground. I'm just like, oh geez. And that was her first cosplay shoot? Oh god. That's gotta be traumatizing. Yeah, that's fucking frightening. Well, thank you guys for sharing your terrible stories.
They just trumped all of ours. So.
Yeah.
Careful, guys.
Yeah, be careful out there. If you're shooting in public with guns, I would say try and make it very, very clear that you are shooting cosplay photos of gun, and try and go further than that if you can. Ooh,
here's the story.
Brilliant Imagery shared it, so I'm curious now. It was during my beginner years into cosplay photography, and the Deadpool cosplayer wanted to shoot at garage. I wasn't from that area, so I didn't know much of it. But anyways, we were doing the shoot, and 2 cops showed up because a pedestrian called them. And as soon as they saw the Deadpool with guns, they pulled out their guns on us and hit the ground. Oh my god,
that's so fucking scary. Oh my god, I peed myself. It's so scary. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's like my worst fear too. Is like something happening like that.
Oh my god, I would cry probably on the spot. I'm not even kidding.
That is a fucking scary moment. God. Thanks for sharing that with us. That is scary. And thanks to everyone who put in questions. Especially like I love how interesting those were. And brought out some very interesting responses. It really is. It's like, this is mainly why I do studio shots now and what drew me to composites. Yeah, that's a very good way to transition into that. Okay, let's get back into doing some photos here. Okay, this next image is from Elizabeth Rochelle. And Sarah, do you want to start us off on this one?
Yeah, actually, I almost thought this was a Mallory Marie photo.
I thought you were.
I kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
I did, just because like the greens and like the grain on the photo and the way the skin is edited reminds me of something that Mallow would do. Anyway, so yeah, I think the colors are like super nice, and I really like how they. I know where this is at Katsucon, and the fact they got no yeah, the fact they got like no people in the background is like pretty impressive.
No one else in that other bench.
Yeah, like I can't believe that. Yeah, I think this photo does a really good job at showcasing the cosplayer's costume really well. I don't know, is it supposed to be like Jack Frost or something? Is it Yuri on Ice? Is it Victor?
Ice. Yeah, Victor. Yeah.
Okay.
I love how you answered your own question.
Well, because when I started saying it out loud, I was like, okay. I was like, the hair reminds me of. I think it's really cool. I don't know if this is like a fan art or their own design, but the costume is super beautiful, and I think the photographer did a really great job at capturing all of these tiny details, which can be really hard to do with an ornate costume. So that's really nice. And the colors are also really beautiful. I think I already said that. That being said, though, I think the saturation is a bit too high for me, particularly on like, I don't know what to call them, but like cabbage things in the background are a little bright.
Fucking cabbage
things.
I don't know. They look like cabbages.
I always think they look like cabbages too, so yeah. I'm with you.
Also the magentas in their skin, especially their right ear, are way too saturated.
I was thinking about the ear. That's how you know I'm either very excited or very angry, because my ears get that color.
Mm-hmm. I think I would have liked to see maybe the colors altered a bit for the cabbage plants. Maybe more blue instead of magenta.
Yes.
Well, only because like the cosplayer is so cyan, but then you have like these purples that don't really go with anything else, so they kind of stand out a little bit. So I think the color toning is nice, but I think it needs to be a little more cohesive, like throughout the whole thing. Yeah, that's my initial feedback.
I dig the dodge and burn in this shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
I like the eyes.
Yeah, like I also think this is really awesome. This shot was taken at f8 at 50 millimeters, which like I often
f8.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, I feel like the background is like a nice amount of blur given that it's f8, but like everything is so super short. I was really surprised this is f8, but like I love the choice because like all the details on the costume get to pop. Like you see all the details on like the beads and in the fabric. Like you don't lose anything because everything is sharp, which I think was a really good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the dodging and burning is just on point.
Oh, that's crazy. I can't believe it's at F8.
I know, like
Yeah, me neither.
you know it's not like F like 1.4 because like it's not, you know, the background's not very blurry, but I wouldn't have thought it would have been all the way to F8. So that
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither. Crazy.
yeah, I just really like the only thing I'd say that this photo needs a little bit more of is color toning. Like that's
Just a smidgen.
just a smidge.
Does the bench bother you guys? I don't know how hard it would be to take it out.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but knowing the condition that they're
Yeah.
shooting in, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think it would bother me more if I didn't know exactly the situation this shot was being taken in.
I'd probably try to try to take it out in post. Like just
You
throw
are a brave
content
fucking soul.
aware fill and see if it comes out, maybe.
Well, you do that, and we'll sit here for like 5 hours.
But if it doesn't work right away, I would just no,
Yeah, ugh,
cancel.
that pains me.
Does a cosplayer's right ear look red?
That's literally what we talked about, Mike.
Oh,
What
you
do
I
already
you-
said
said
that
that?
earlier. Yeah. Well, I said their left. Well, I said left ear, but ear. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Lookers left. Yeah, no, definitely very red. And some people were saying this too, that like kind of the cape is cutting off the kind of arms and making them look a little foreshortened, and I would agree. I just think just kind of the way this was shot makes the cosplayer look a little stubbier, I guess. Like they feel like they've been compacted into a space a little bit more. Like if you had this shot just zoomed out just a little bit, maybe had the cape pulled back a little bit more, allowed them to kind of like roll their shoulder back a little bit more, I think it would help open up the posing a little bit and make them feel a little less like boxy and squished into the frame.
That being said, though, I think the pose is pretty nice, and their expression is very. I think someone said it's Prince Victor from a dating game.
It's not Victor.
No, it
from
is
Yuri on
it
Ice? I
like.
thought it was.
Is there a dating game for Yuri on Ice?
It wouldn't shock me, but hell if I
don't
know.
I don't know shit about Yuri on Ice. Shocking, I know.
Yeah, actually, it is kind of shocking.
Watched it, didn't like it. Controversial. Anyway, no, but I think the cosplay like really nailed like that, like the smize. I don't know. They just like the look is just so piercing. I really like it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard to get someone to like. It's hard to do that. So the fact that this person just did it like is super impressive. I love it.
Yeah. Guys, got any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
It's beautiful.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I love the dodge and burn on this. It's super awesome. Okay, before we move on to the next one, I want to give a shout out and thank you to Breland Imagery for the $5 donation. Thank you so much.
You.
Thanks for sharing your story and yeah, appreciate it. The next shot is
this is spoopy.
which is hilarious and not planned at all, is from Breland Imagery. Like that couldn't have worked out better. I did not plan that at all. Wow.
Perfect timing.
Beautiful. And Mike, you are up on this one.
So this is Breland Imagery, Bran Flakes, as we like to call them.
I was pronouncing it wrong this whole time, and you could have corrected me, but no, you were
Well,
watching me fail this whole time.
I'm not sure. What is it? Is it Breland? Let us know.
Yeah.
Cosplayer is Little Songbird. I like that. And it's Liz from BioShock. Infinite.
Yeah.
And actually, this is the Burial at Sea DLC, which I'm sad to say that I have not played it yet.
Well,
Even
I
though
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I love BioShock Infinite, but I haven't played Burial at Sea yet. I got to do that. um, I like the dramatic color grading in this. Like, it really matches like the style that he's going for here.
What happens in this DLC? Like, it just everyone just
I don't even know.
murdered?
I guess so.
I mean, it is a fairly violent first-person shooter, so like, I mean,
I haven't played it.
and it's spoopy. At least,
well, I do
the original
get that.
Bios-
I know it's spoopy.
Yeah, at least I'd say Infinite isn't really spoopy, but I think the Burial at Sea one tried to bring back some of that spoopiness of the first two games. So, so I think that I don't know. I haven't played it, but I feel like that was captured here. I mean, the shot looks, it's got some high quality spoops in here. So
yeah, it's got like that horror feel, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I guess all of us are not really composite editors, so I really appreciate the skill involved in composite editing.
Wait, so this whole thing is composited?
I don't know. Maybe the sink at the bottom might not be. Possibly.
I mean, so yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like the sink would have had to have been composited because unless you have like a shoot through mirror, because most of the time you don't have a sink floating out in a space where you can shoot like like you know what I'm saying?
True.
Like that's usually not the case. So I gotta imagine that the sink would I don't know, maybe there's a sink like
Holiday Matsuri? What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, Mike, you've been there, so your brain's probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And some little things, I guess. Maybe that rim light that's hitting her could be changed more red, possibly, to match like that little red glow in the background.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that rim light also isn't. It feels like it should be brighter or shouldn't be shown at all. Like it's coming from off of camera, because right now I just kind of feel like it doesn't feel bright enough to feel believable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like it should be a specular highlight, but it's not quite there yet. Like it's just not that bright. And I think if you're going to have like so a big thing in editing with composites, if you're going to have a light source shining in your photo, like almost all of the time, a bright light source that's casting light onto your subject is going to be a specular highlight. And if you guys don't know what specular highlight means, it's pure white. So it's going to be blown out. Bright. It's going to be bright in your shot. Like the light from the top of this, that's a specular highlight because it's casting all that light, and it makes sense. I think some of the compositing looks really good, and some of it I feel like doesn't work for me. The thing that
I feel like something's up with the light. Up top, like the 3D space doesn't.
Yeah, it feels like the light is behind her, but somehow casting light in front of her. Like, yeah,
something like that.
I also think there's some weird composite elements in the shot, like the blood splatter in the sink. Just totally looks wrong to me. I would just remove that blood splatter because, like, I don't know. It just looks super wrong to me. Yeah, I don't know. That's strangely like one of like the biggest things. And then, so I think the idea here was to make it look like a very dirty mirror, and she's actually looking into the mirror, and that's like you are her, and that's the reflection.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of wish we saw a little bit of the countertops, just that context.
Yeah,
because
like
otherwise I'm like, why is she leaning over a mix?
yeah, that took me a really long time to kind of feel like I got that, because we don't get anything like if we saw the other side of her hands to kind of like, you know, coming out from where the camera is, that way
there's
we can
the toilet in the background.
So that way we could
that.
read that we essentially are viewing it from her eyeballs, like, and that's her reflection that we're seeing. I think that would be really cool. But right now, my first thought when I looked at this photo was that this was some like really weird looking rain effect.
No, that's what I thought it was too.
And it took me a hot minute to be able to tell that it was not rain, and that it was supposed to be a dirty mirror.
Yeah.
So I think contextually there just needs to be a little bit more to help us read that better. Overall though, solid attempts though.
Yeah, it's really nice. Ara mentioned that they like real video game screenshot, and I agree. It's like on the verge of being like kind of like not HDR, and I like that. I think it looks really cool. Like if I got this back, I'd be fucking stoked.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool idea too. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
No.
No.
Okay, let's move on to the next one then. And this one is from David Lang. David L. Lang. I tried to double up on those L's by saying Lang, but that doesn't work out. And this shot, I believe, was a hallway shot at DaishoCon. So that's local Wisconsin con for us. Actually, it's Vash, I believe, and if he's still in chat, he's a photographer. Oops, I forgot to change the photo on the screen for you guys. I'm sorry. I did it for everywhere else, but I'm like, they're not looking at this photo. Whoops. Fixed it. So I like, it's kind of hilarious because I feel like the very first thing that jumps out to me of this photo has nothing to do with anything photography wise. And it's that she used ketchup bottles. It's like the very first thing I look at this photo, and I'm like, lol, ketchup bottles. I'm sorry. That's what my eyes key in on. I like ketchup, I guess. I don't know.
That's inventive though, man.
Yeah, no, it was a decent way to do it, but just really kind of caught into my brain and just stayed there, and I'm like thinking about ketchup bottles. I think it's an interesting take for this kind of a shot with the heavy shadows, and kind of because she's a crazier character, this lighting potentially works better. That said, I think the composition could be adjusted. I feel like you really want to have her centered and like looking straight into the camera, straight into the middle of the frame. I don't think there's really all that interesting in the background, so really make sure that she is the center of this. Like, it just feels to me like the shot needs to be shifted just like a little bit to the right. I think you could like maybe up the mood a little bit of this by playing with the contrasts and dodging and burning a little bit more too, and really kind of like trying to dodge and burn, especially with her eyes, make those pop a lot more. The biggest thing I will say is that I don't dislike black and whites, but I rarely think that pure black and white is the way to go. You
want a little bit of color grading in there?
Just like you can go black and white like right off the bat, but then add a little bit of split toning in, and it can add so much more depth to your black and white. It'll still look like a black and white a lot of the time, but it just adds like a little bit of like just a little bit of extra, like Like you just
I kind of disagree.
really.
I think the sometimes I think black and white takes more effort because you're working with such minimal, like you're only working with blacks and grays and whites, right? And I think like to get that depth that I think is missing from this photo, you have to work a lot harder. And I think you already mentioned dodging and burning. Like I think if that had just been taken a lot further, this could be really strong. Because I think sometimes black and white images can be for the word like striking if you put the work into it. And I found because there was like a black and white photo challenge going around like a few years ago.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember being like, "Oh, my photo looks like shit," because I gotta like really work at it to make it look good. And I think what a lot of people do, and this is just from my experience of like doing black and white photography, especially digitally, is they'll desaturate it, up the contrast like a little bit, and call it a day. But like you really have to go in there and like enhance a lot of things to make it work.
Yeah, because you don't have color to separate things anymore. Like you have to like everything is based on contrast and like you're removing one element of a photo, so everything else about that photo needs to be a little bit stronger to make up for that kind of lack.
Yeah, I like split toning, like don't get me wrong, but I also think split toning is even harder to like because I'll see like sepia toned photos, but they're even black and white. So it's like you first got to figure out how to.
So what I mean by that is like just like the lightest bit of cross processing. Okay, because like I was curious and I played with that, and this is almost if every time I've done black and whites, I pretty much take a little bit of color into the shadows and a little bit of colors into the highlights. So what I meant by
like
that,
as like a finishing, right? Like
yeah. So like this,
in,
like I'll zoom in to show it a little bit before, but this is before.
But you know what I mean when what people think like split toning is applying a sepia filter and like that's just.
Yeah, like, and I mean the slightest bit of color, just like the littlest bit of color in the shadow and the highlights. Just it just helps potentially bring a little bit more depth to the image, and like still reads as black and white. Like it can be an interesting way. Like if you want your black and white to feel cooler. Like, and I mean that by color tone cooler, like just putting a little bit of blues in it, or if you want to feel warmer, just a little bit of reds, like the littlest bit. Because it's real easy to take that too far, and then it doesn't read as a black and white anymore.
One thing I noticed is the way the light's coming in. Like if the cosplayer could just slightly shift a bit, you might be able to get like a Rembrandt lighting. Like a little bit more lighting on the camera right side, because it's kind of being lost there in the darkness a little bit.
Stuff for a whole shot.
Yeah, I don't know how, like, I can't really place this location, but like ideally I would love to see it where just like that like solid texture pieces behind her and not kind of like the like domed scooped out part of it. You know what I mean? I just don't know how big it is, so that might not even be a thing that could be doable. I don't know. Any other shots? Ugh, God damn it! What are words? Any other thoughts on this shot before we move on to the next one?
I don't usually see black and white photos for cosplay, so
I like it, especially for a whole shot.
Yeah, it's good to try, different things.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is from Demi and Sarah. Do you want to start us off on this one?
Yes.
Yes.
We love our floor shots.
So fucking hard.
I know. I was like, this is great. Especially with the glasses. I'm already like, wow, this was done well. I'm impressed. Was this? I want to say this was shot in a studio. I really like the white background because it really allows the cosplayer to pop, which is super nice. And the color grading is like, I like the really clean editing on this one. Usually I don't because I like color grading. I like taking colors to like a weird place, but I think in this one it worked really well for the color, like the natural colors that are already in the photo. That being said, though, I appreciate the effort at laying out the hair, but I think in this case, I think it was taken a little too far. There's just a lot of like negative like white spaces and shapes being created, and it's creating more like visual noise than something that is like there for like something that's visually like appealing, if that makes any sense.
I think it could potentially work if her chest didn't also have a lot of a big white area.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just like a lot. It's just like really busy, and I don't know. I'm personally not feeling it. I think it could be laid out a little better.
It kind of reminds me of like an underwater photo or something with the hair.
Sort of, yeah. The way that's being dispersed like that. I'm also not sure how I kind of get why they positioned the roses like they did, but at the same time, it's like creating like an odd V shape. I think having the roses bunched a little more naturally, maybe be going like diagonally, would have looked a little more flattering. I feel like this is gonna sound terrible, but I feel like the flowers are like choking her a little bit. Like they're very like suffocating feeling to me. But again, that's just me.
Maybe if you crop in a little bit and get rid of the stems, because
Maybe.
they kind of just... You can see like the lines of the roses from the stems.
So I think a big part of the difficulty with laying down shots is getting the camera in the right position so that like the distortion doesn't play against you. Because oftentimes you have to shoot fairly wide to get these to work, which means distortion will play against you really quickly. Unless you have like a giant ass ladder that you can stand on and shoot telephoto, which sometimes you can do in a studio, but oftentimes you don't have that as an option.
That might be like the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No. Honestly, it is the best way. I've been able to do that
work
once, but then I fucked up the lighting. But yeah. So I think like to me, because of that, the shot is a bit too like high on her head. I think the lens needs to be a little bit lower, kind of like pointed towards like, so the center of the lens is like positioned over like kind of the top of her chest. Like right now it's positioned like right over her forehead, which gives kind of this shooting like downwards at her body angle. And I think you want to like not have it shoot down as much. That said,
I have like issues with that a lot, because sometimes they're looking too much up and their eyes are kind of like looking upwards.
Yeah.
You know? But like here, it kind of... She looks like she's looking straight on, like,
yeah,
in a good way.
No, totally. I think there's a lot what was nailed about this laying down shot too. Like the lighting for this, like lighting is like weirdly...
So nice.
Really hard to do in laying down shots, because you can't set up.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't set up your lights like you normally would.
Areas.
Yeah, because like nothing works. Like it's just totally different. It like throws your brain for a loop, and it works really, really well here. So I'm super impressed about that.
Cool.
I'm impressed about the hair. Like it doesn't.
It's
look...
still really clean. Like I don't know how
the
strands are so individually
or like the bangs.
pristine.
The bangs like on the head. Yeah, because like whenever I do a laying down shot, the bangs always fly up.
Yeah, like it would be really easy for the hair to look just like hot garbage in this photo, yet it does not. So props on that one. I feel like I had something else. So something I will praise, and I think there probably isn't any lenses in these frames. That's probably why there's zero reflection.
Thank God.
but they look really good. The only thing that's driving me nuts as a glasses wearer is that she's not looking through the glasses, and I'm like, well, why are you
But it's
wearing
like
glasses?
the anime.
That's anime
Megami.
style.
I know. This is a personal thing, okay, and it just annoys me. It annoys me when they do it in anime too, because I'm like, you need your fucking glasses, otherwise, no one does this if they can't fucking see. Like, this isn't a thing.
I do it all the time. We're talking.
No, you don't. Stop. Get out of here.
I go to bed now.
Do you feel like her face is too center framed?
Yeah, I do.
Yes. I'm actually surprised that Andrew didn't bring that up. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at with the lens framing, though. Like, because this was shot at 29 millimeters, albeit on, I believe, on crop sensor, but 29 millimeters nonetheless. So like that is still fairly wide. So you are gonna get that distortion. So like you just gotta adjust it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I've fucked this up so many times with laying down shots. So that's like I'm trying to be easy. They're so hard. Like I don't know why. They're stupid.
That's photo.
Yeah, like
I know what you mean about the distortion, because
yeah.
if you're using wide angle and you put the face not center, then you're gonna get a distortion on the side.
But like you can see her, like if you could continue this photo outwards, like the distortion would look super weird as her body continued, because like her body's like going away from the camera lens. It's not straight down. Her body's going away because of distortion, and it's not taken quite straight down. And like it's so easy to not get it perfect. It's really fucking hard. Like, and I think this is, given that, I think this is a really solid attempt. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this one? Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from Fluffy Fox Photo. I think she is in chat. She said she was going to be Ubering tonight and taking breaks from Ubering.
Why are you always in Uber?
I saw Fluffy earlier. She was very active.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right, so this is Fluffy Fox. The cosplayer is Dana Days. And the character is, I haven't seen this show, She-Ra. Well, not the character. The show is She-Ra, and the character is Adora. I really like this like top-down shoot. Like I don't really see this. I don't really see people doing this kind of shoot.
Because people like to look tall in photos.
Yeah.
But this is cool.
It works for like this like heroic shot, I guess. And also it's really hard to like get this because you need to like be on a ladder maybe. I don't know how she was able to get it like this.
I'm pretty sure this gosh, she sent me this in an Instagram story. She showed me the original, but my memory is fucking horrendous. So I want to say it was a studio shot and she composited in this background, but like Fluffy Fox, please tell me if I'm wrong, because my memory is terrible and I'm sorry. Like I know she composited in the cape. Like the cape is not real.
I was gonna say this. There's
the
something
cape is not real?
going. No, I was like, there's something.
No, look in, especially like by her left arm, like by her bicep-ish area, where like
oh yeah, I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah, it's a pretty I think solid like first attempt at it, but like I'd definitely be cautious about it, because like there's like some of the lines on like the left side of the image for the cape are like I think they need to be a lot smoother. And then
is the character not wearing a cape?
I think there must have been something wrong, because I think the cape, like you can see on the left side of the image, like you can see that the like I think the original part of the cape, and then you can see where like the like painted over part exists. Here, I'll try and zoom in and share for the stream like. This
yeah, I guess I'm just wondering why they painted it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. My memory is terrible.
Maybe they didn't have a flipper. Couldn't flip the cape out.
It was at Anime Milwaukee at the Con Center, and she was standing on a table. So
one thing I noticed right away is her left
arm is
Arm
missing.
is hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was
Maybe
falling off.
just like have her like hold it out on her hip or something like that.
Yeah.
I think make the glow brighter, maybe, but it is hard because the background's already bright, so
Yeah.
I
I've
don't
had
know.
difficulties
So
with that
what I would
before.
say with that is I think that glow um have it fade off more. Like I feel like it's a just a bit too, like it ends a bit too abruptly. I'd like to see it kind of like have like a large I know the Photoshop term, like I want the glow to have a higher radius, but like I was just like drawing a blank on the actual like words to say to describe it in like non-Photoshop terms.
When I did like glows, like I made another layer and blurred it.
Yeah,
to,
like if that like
more.
the Gaussian blur like radius would be
Yeah,
higher.
exactly.
I just think it just needs to be a little bit blurrier.
Yeah. I'd say add more glow effects, maybe like little fairies or something like that. I think that'd be cool.
I like more sparkly things.
More sparkly things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that was a solid job to in my mind is that the you know, outside of the glow, I think if with the glow removed, the background feels pretty natural, the perspective of the cosplayer, which is impressively done, because that can be real easy to fuck up.
That's where I stopped doing composite, is when I
Yeah.
can't get that to
Yeah,
look
you're just
right.
like, nope,
okay,
nope,
never
I'm
mind.
done. That's why I don't
Can't
do
do it.
composites, because they just take too much
Yeah.
time, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to spend the time on this.
Then you just look like shit. I'm like, wow, I just spent like 8 hours and I'm never getting back in my life.
I also think that the whites on the cosplayer themselves are just a little bit too bright. They're blown out a little bit. I would try to rein those in just a little bit. Make sure you're not blowing out those highlights. If I can show on stream here. So I used a threshold to show where the blown out highlights are. So all those areas that show up as white on the threshold layer are what is just, there's no detail there. It's pure white.
Oh, wow.
So I'd really make sure that you're just like, whether you're exposing it just a little bit lower, just to make sure, or even hopefully bringing it back in camera raw and those details are exist. But yeah, I'd just make sure you're not totally losing those details. Yeah.
Super cool. Actually, I would not have known this.
Sorry, you cut off there for a second there. Can you say that again?
Oh, I said this is a cool shot, and I don't think I would have known that it was shot by. Like, I feel like their editing is. They just always experiment.
Yeah, I love that she's trying to grow a lot, and it's showing. Yeah. So keep that at good work up. Cool. Okay, I think we should move on to the next shot, and this will be the final shot of the critique. And this one is from Lou. I haven't seen him in chat, but hopefully he's around. Let me grab that Flickr link for you all. There we go. And this is in the classic Lou series of half face shots. I actually think this one is one of the least compositionally. I feel like this one works really well. I kind of really dig how the bokeh is falling off in this shot. Kind of like it's such a strong bokeh where the nose is falling out of focus, but like the shoulder also is falling out of focus already, and I just really kind of like the depth that brings there. The fact that the focus was nailed on the eye makes it feel really strong, and really makes that eye contact feel quite powerful.
Always gotta focus the eye.
Yeah,
especially for this.
Yeah,
series.
no, if you missed focus on the eye with this shot, I think, yeah, that's fucked.
I'm gonna touch on the skin retouching on this a bit. Only
yeah,
because it is so like you're so close to the face. I can see like the makeup that the model used, and it's
yeah.
like
So
patchy and red. I wish it was like something.
There's apparently the story here is there was the cosplayer had a burn on his face and used makeup to try and cover it up, but apparently not.
I mean, that's fine, but like,
yeah,
totally like it separated it. Either it's a bad makeup job or you need to.
Yeah. The thing that bums me out is given that Gladio is a character who is essentially battle scarred.
Yeah.
I wish the cosplayer hadn't tried to cover it up with makeup because one, I think that makeup does not match his skin color. Two, the application leaves something to be desired. And
well, so Lou said he kept the burn mark because it goes well with scar. Okay, I agree with
that. Totally.
I
just wish
the color of the foundation 100% doesn't.
Oh, totally. That's the painful part. Is like
it sticks out.
Lou, this shouldn't be on you to have to fix, but
no.
Given the fact that this photo is the way it is, I would have tried to fix the foundation to match the color of his skin better. Because, like, I really wish he hadn't used that foundation and just had the burn mark. Because I think it, like, Gladio, it wouldn't have felt weird. It's like, cool, you've got a big scar running down your face. Like, okay, cool, you got a burn mark. We're not going to go there, but yeah, we know.
I think in general, it's always good to match the skin tone on like the entire body of a cosplayer too.
Yeah,
which is something that I try to do as well.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because normally I don't feel like you have to do color matching in such a small like location.
Yeah.
Normally you're having to do it like a match like the arms to the chest, not like the face to the little bit further along the face. This shot is a reminder to me why I don't like shooting contacts a lot of the time. God, I don't like contacts. So if this were me, I would try and spend some time to make the contact look a bit more natural. The only reason why this photo's super sharp and really solidly nailed, but that's unfortunately what makes the contact work less. Because you can see the fact that it's a fake contact in here where like, oops, wrong button. You get to see like the weird kind of like dithering on the contact, like along the edge here. And like, then you also get to see the pupil is like right here, which doesn't match up with like, you can see the iris behind it. So like, there's just stuff that I personally would spend some time cleaning up the eyeball. Because it is like the focus point of the shot is the eye, and it is such a zoomed in shot that it's very important that I personally would spend a lot of time working on that retouch.
I agree.
This is why I don't like contact lenses for cosplay, because oftentimes like me making popping the look of the eye as it is naturally and then changing the color of that eye is significantly easier than doing the changes to the contact. I get why people wear. I'm not telling people to stop wearing contacts. Because
I'd say majority of photographers don't even.
Oh yeah, no. Totally. Yeah. Once again, that's not my. I just want to make clear that's not my argument that people should stop wearing contacts. Because no, don't. Just it's my own personal peeve.
I do like it does feel more natural, like if they don't wear contacts and you just like color the eye yourself, I guess. You get a nice natural eye look. One thing about the background, I assume this is at Katsucon, like the little gazebo section. Like maybe try to
Oh.
move. I want to see it like moved a little bit to where you get more of that like leaves, I guess. You get more of the little bokeh balls because like right to the next to them is like all white right there. I don't know if that bothers you guys. That whole section of white.
Yeah, it's like I
I'm
don't hate
okay
it,
on it.
but I don't love it.
Or just have it completely white and just have nothing. That might look pretty cool too.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think less white would have been a little, but I don't like.
um. I think that's about all I have for this shot.
I wonder what it would look like if you had the f-stop higher, because since it's such a close photo, like you can get even more in focus. You can get more detail.
What is the f-stop on this?
I imagine pretty shallow.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Yeah, hold on. I have to pull it up from the file. Yeah, let me see if it could have. Sometimes the EXIF data gets scrubbed on export, so I might not have it. Yeah, it got scrubbed, so there's no. I cannot tell you. Unfortunately,
because we're missing like a lot of detail in the eyebrow.
Yeah, I actually like. I think maybe you could up the depth of field just a little bit, but I actually like how it's falling off by his shoulder. So I think that's a personal thing. Cool. Okay, I think that wraps up the critique. Thank you so much, Kaze Photography, for joining us. After
it only took us
28
episodes.
Thanks for letting me come on.
It only
I've been asking this whole time, and you guys wouldn't do it.
It only took us 28 years.
So weird.
We've been asking you to get on longer than you've been shooting cosplay for. No, it was an absolute pleasure having you on, and
I hope you had fun.
Yeah, I hope
really
you
fun.
enjoyed it.
Guess you're coming back.
Yeah, because you're definitely getting invited back. So hopefully it won't take another 28 episodes to get you back on. 29, not 28. Geez.
Gonna be the Olympics 2020. Yeah. Mike, can you come back on?
So absolutely awesome having you on. Mike, where can people find you and keep up with your work?
Well, I have a Twitch that I do photo editing on. It's Kaze Mike. Also Kaze Mike on Instagram.
The Kaze _ Mike?
Kaze _ Mike, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I'm going to be going to ASIN, so I might do a photo shoot sign up thing on my Instagram.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can meet up there. And I'll be with Andrew.
Yeah, we'll be hanging out at least for some of it. Sarah, where can people find your work, and what are your upcoming cons?
Mostly on Instagram. I shit post on Twitter a lot. My next event is Fanime.
She said very skeptically.
I'm not booking shoots. Please stop asking. Please stop asking. I'm not booking shoots.
So Vontography, I feel like you should know where you are by now. I'm stream on Twitch, and
oh really?
Yeah, that's I know, cool. Right? Streams will probably be a little bit less frequent in the next month, but then probably get a little bit more consistent because school is going to be ramping up with finals for me, so like things are going to be pretty hectic over early May. So, but then once that lightens up, hopefully I'll have a lot more time to do streams and besides just like critiques and stuff. But keep an eye out for that after May. I will also be at Anime Central. I actually just opened, I just opened bookings for some paid shoots today. So if you are interested in shooting with me, or you know someone who would like to shoot with me at ASEN, I have some spots open. They're going really fast. I'm actually shocked at how many people have messaged me already over it. So if you're interested, like, get on that now, because they probably aren't going to be available in, like, I would guess in the next couple of days they will all be gone, just based on the influx I've had. I don't know that for fact, but that's kind of where I'm thinking things will be. So if you're interested, get on that soon. That said, if you don't book me for a shoot and that you are going to ASEN, feel free to say hi. I'll be around. Feel free, come up to me, say hey. It's cool. The next critique is going to be, I don't know when. The next stream is actually, we're going to do a Q&A stream for the next stream. So if you watched our Q&A stream about a month ago, we're going to do
really, a month ago?
I know. I know, right? So we are going to do the next one of those on April 25th. So next week.
Come with your spiciest questions. Just kidding, please.
So keep an eye out for that. We're still working out the details, but then honestly, maybe expect a little bit of a break from the critiques. I don't know. Maybe we'll do one on the second. I don't know. May's gonna be a really tight month, because I know, like, I have ASEN, Sarah has Fanime.
Dude, IRL stream on ASEN.
Dude, I already have so much going on. I'm planning an open shoot at ASEN, so I forgot to mention that. Details will be up probably tomorrow or sometime. No, not tomorrow. Probably next week sometime. If you don't know what that is, it means I'm going to work with a big group of photographers, and we're going to get together, and we're going to all be in one place for an hour. And you can come and shoot with any of them, and we will all be available, and it'll be really cool. And yeah, so I'm putting that together. So if you're going to be at ASEN and you're a photographer, let me message me if you're interested. I'm not going to be accepting every photographer. I kind of want to, like, get a good feel of whether you're going to be a good fit for that. Please don't put the open shoot in the wind tunnel. I mean, that's
like a horrible time.
Dude, there's so little places. It's going to be in the same place it was last year, and we got to hope that it's not windy, because, like, guess what? There ain't nowhere else to go. If you've got a good idea where you can put another, like, 15 to 20 photographers all shooting in separate locations that are mildly interesting at the same time at ASEN without going into the forest, then let me know.
Forest.
I'm not doing it in the forest, because that's a bad idea, and also very, very hit or miss too, because it could be flooded.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was windy as fuck last year, but I cannot control the wind. And it was rainy last year or 2 years ago when we did the open shoot, but like 3 years ago it was actually freaking wonderful. So, like, let's hope that we get that. But yeah.
Please, for my first ASEN.
Yeah.
let it be
Yeah.
Maybe Mike will bring the good weather.
Yeah, bring that
I always
Florida
bring
weather.
the bad weather.
Oh,
Well,
god
now you
damn
just
it, Mike.
jinxed it, Mike.
No, I bring warm weather. I bring warm weather.
okay.
It'll be good.
Okay, totally got derailed there. But next stream will be a Q&A stream. Don't have the guests nailed down yet, but we'll have that soon. But that'll almost certainly be next week on the 25th. So that's Thursday. So 1 week from this moment. Excuse me. Thank you guys, everyone who watched along, or if you're watching this in the future and watching this on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much to everyone who contributed either questions or critiqued along with us. It's super thankful to have you guys along for the ride. It makes this experience a hell of a lot more fun. And if you enjoyed this, please consider donating or subscribing. those things help a lot. A little goes a long way and helps us keep doing this. By no means are they expected, but they are greatly appreciated. And same Twitch Prime sub spiel as always. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you have one free sub per month to give to whatever streamer that you want. They do not renew, so you have to do it every month. Otherwise, if you don't use it, you're just throwing that money away. So if not here, please just give it to any streamer. Don't let that money go to waste. And also want to say another great way that you can help if you are not in a financial situation to sub or donate is to share this stream. If you're enjoying it, share it with your friends, get them to submit or just get them to watch. It's hard to grow this stream. I'm sure a lot of you know the problems of trying to grow social media presence in this day and age.
Impossible.
So the best
Do you still
way
do the restream on Facebook?
Yeah, we still restream on Facebook, but thankfully we've pretty much moved most of our audience over to Twitch, which is great, and that's where we want you guys. So but that way, just share, let people know about it. Goes a long way to help us out. With that, thank you again, Mike, Sarah, for joining me tonight, and we will see you very soon next week.
Next week.
Yeah, I think that's it. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.